Outer Orange.
Oh my gosh, it is already the end of November. December is starting. How crazy is that, guys? Welcome back to another video. I am OuterOrange here, and today we are doing orange peels for November. Alright guys, so November is officially over. Another beautiful month has passed, and we are almost at our 1 year with these videos, aren't we? I think I started my first one in January. Wow guys, we have officially done like 11 of these. I hope you guys that have been watching them, I also enjoy them, and also enjoy just like talking about like my other hobbies and things like that, but I don't really know. But regardless, thank you for being here. For those of you guys that do watch and enjoy my stuff, thank you so much. So welcome back to November Peels. Today we are going to be discussing a couple topics here, and actually I forgot one of them, so let me go grab that real quick. The art in this one is actually pretty old kind of too. This is by Banri Hidaka. So this is a really unknown manga, and it's probably gonna be a hard one to find. So if you're out there searching for some really obscure stuff here, you might have a little trouble finding this one, as I had a lot of trouble finding this one. And actually the last 2 volumes are not printed, so you can only read it online. This did get canceled, at least in terms of printing for English. I believe it's still out there in Japan, but if you want to find this one, it's a little bit tricky. But anyway, this is VP Rose. This is a story about a girl, but the story sounds so much more boring and generic than the actual plot and everything is. She's really good at sewing, and she's just really good at, like, you know, crafty type things, and she loves weddings. And essentially what happens is that she's been kind of creating like little bags and all this stuff, really girly stuff. Well, not girly stuff, but she's just good at sewing. And her sister is kind of a klutz, and she doesn't really know this, but pretty much what happens is her sister's getting married to someone that she just doesn't approve of, and it makes her kind of go into this big, like, I'm a teenager rant type of thing. And from that point on, she bumps into these 2 guys right here who literally own a shop where they create wedding dresses, wedding miracles. And of course, since the sister is about to get married, these 2 guys are actually a close friend of hers. So what happens is that she wants a wedding dress done by them, and then they all kind of clash with each other. Like, they all kind of get close together. The sister kind of isn't as relevant to the story, it's just kind of like a beginning kind of relevance thing. But long story short, she bumps into the guys, and then she starts working for the same shop with the guys in order to just kind of just pretty much go from there. And it sounds kind of, like I said, it sounds pretty generic and you know, not that interesting, but actually this does develop really well. And the comedy in this, let me just show you guys kind of what it looks like, but the comedy is actually pretty good in here. Can't exactly explain what kind of comedy this is. I just think it's hilarious, and it is extremely shoujo-ish looking. And like I said, don't let the art get to you. Got this 50% off at a place they're closed now. It was like a card shop slash like manga video game type of thing, and they're closed now. But anyway, I got it there, and it was 50% off. I got both volume 1 and 2 for literally like $2, and I was like, I literally just picked it up because it was so cheap. I never actually thought I would enjoy the manga, and like I said, the art wasn't really driving me home or anything like that. But then I read it, and I just got really invested in the characters, and that's what I'm giving right now. If you really have an interest in it, you can probably find it online somewhere, and you show some interest. I will say one thing: out of all the shoujos I've read, this is one of my favorite ones that I've read. It's not like the best out there, but I love it so much because the characters build on you. There's a comedy, the characters have feelings, they have desires, they have emotions, the characters grow with you. There's a lot of building. The characters themselves kind of build, like the main character builds, the 2 guy characters kind of build too. There's other stuff happening that is not on the surface of the first 2 volumes. You kind of start seeing it happen as you progress further into the full thing. But that's VB Rose. Other than that, so let's go ahead and talk about some TV shows, right? Because, you know, TV shows is kind of a thing, right? And if people have been talking to me, I've been bringing it up here and there, but my recent obsession has been Lucifer. I think I started it in the very beginning of this month. I might have started it very late into end of October, and guess what? I finished it. So it is six seasons. Now granted, some seasons are shorter and some are longer. Some are 10 episode seasons, some are 20 episode seasons. They're kind of just all over the place, so it's kind of hard to tell. And yeah, I finished the whole show. Don't regret any second of it. This show is pretty amazing. Let me put it this way. So Lucifer is a show about the literal devil coming back to Earth because he got banished from being an angel. So he decides to, but he doesn't want to be a demon anymore. He got tired of being the ruler of hell or whatever. So he decides to pretty much come to the human world and just kind of mess around and just have a fun time. And pretty much what happens is the story just starts building from there. He bumps into a detective that's part of the police stuff, you know, just cop. She's pretty much a cop, but she's a detective, so any homicides or anything serious that happens, like a serial killer or anything like that, she's responsible for figuring out who the killer is or what happened and whatnot. And they bump into each other, and he has a power, like a skill of sorts, that pretty much says when he comes to you, when he walks up to you and, you know, just stares at you real specifically and goes, what is it that you desire? You will answer, and you will say exactly what you desire, and by using that type of power, you can, you know, get the truth out of people, essentially, or, you know, figure out what it is that they want. So when there are suspects and stuff like that, you know, he can ask that kind of question and kind of figure out who the actual killer is a lot faster than the people that are suspected, or maybe if they are suspected, might actually be the killer, and so on and so forth. The show kind of starts off this simple way of like, hello, I'm a demon with a superpower. Hello, I am a cop and I need help to solve cop cases. Hello, I have a demon power that will help you with that. Well, hello, then join me and let's figure this out together. And it sounds kind of like, that sounds kind of boring, but it builds really well. First of all, Lucifer as a character, as a character, is amazing. The person that, I don't know who the person is, the actor, but the actor who did the role of Lucifer just did it really well. And the Lucifer character written out is a really funny character. The entire show is like him. He's just so really truthful, which means that he's very upfront about everything he says. But because he's so upfront, no one ever takes him. No one ever believes that he's actually that upfront, and he's so wild and weird that people just constantly misjudge him. And it's just really hilarious to watch, because there are some times where he just is how he is, but there are some times where he just doesn't understand how human society works, and it's kind of just funny to watch him try to figure it out. And then there's like other stuff that kind of comes into play, and obviously, you know, there's the whole heaven and hell thing, and, you know, immortality, and there's all this stuff that kind of starts getting involved into the show that's pretty interesting. Lucifer is not the best show out there. It's one of those shows where you really get invested in the main two characters, which is the cop and Lucifer, and everything else just kind of flows in here and there. Like there are some times where like, yeah, I really like these characters, and sometimes you're like, I just care about Lucifer and the cop, which is Chloe, by the way, and you kind of just go back and forth between this feeling. But a lot of the big carry is the main two protagonists, which is Lucifer and Chloe. And when those ends start kind of falling off a little bit, when you start seeing other characters kind of be more important, though there are some characters that are good, like there's a character called Mazikeen, she's great, but there are some times where you kind of just want to see Lucifer and Chloe do their thing, and because of that, like the show has sometimes dips. It also doesn't help that the show almost got canceled a couple times, so I think they were really struggling on budget or trying to figure out what to do with the show, if they wanted to keep it going or wanted to stop on a certain season or whatever. And I think that was kind of causing a little bit of inconsistency in some storytelling, but overall, the show is very enjoyable, episode to episode. Even if not all the episodes are perfect, there's a lot of fun and a lot of comedy behind a lot of the characters, and that's why I recommend it. Yeah, Lucifer is good. Next we have, and this is, you know, big spoiler alerts, because I didn't really spoil Lucifer, but I'm probably gonna spoil this show. It is Arcane. Oh, what a surprise! I know. We're expecting that. Were you? It's not like it's in my thumbnail or anything. I don't even have a thumbnail yet, but I'm sure it has something to do with Arcane. But anyway, guys, so Arcane. I actually was gonna wait on Arcane. I wasn't gonna watch it right off the bat. In case you guys aren't aware, and it's actually on my channel, there are old videos of me playing League back in the day. I like League of Legends. It's I actually used to play League of Legends like 15 hours a day. It was extremely unhealthy, by the way. Jinx is one of my favorite ADCs, attack, damage, carry. If you don't know what that means, it's okay. It's a game terminology thing. Not everybody plays League, and not everybody that watches Arcane plays League, so I'm just letting you know that's what she is. She does a ton of damage in the game, and she pretty much just carries if she gets a ton of kills and a ton of money to buy items to get stronger. And she is literally one of my favorite characters. I have gotten to gold with her. I saw the release of Arcane, like that it was coming, like on the 10-year anniversary of League of Legends. And I was really excited because this was during the time where I was still kind of playing, and I was still like, you know, in goal and stuff and doing Orianna things. And then I just kind of stopped caring, you know, and then it came out on Netflix, and I don't know, I just kind of woke up one of these days, nothing to do with Twitter, nothing to do with anything. I was just like, I'm just gonna watch this. I don't care what's going on out there. I'm gonna watch the show because it looks amazing, and gosh darn it, is it amazing. And I'm probably gonna spoil it here, so if you don't want any spoilers, please skip over. If you haven't seen it yet, you know, go watch it. It's really good for anyone out there. If you are a League of Legends player or you are not a League of Legends player, you should definitely watch the show regardless. It is good for both parties. You do not need to know stuff to watch the show. I actually got Vanguard Insider into the show, and he legitimately knows very little about League, and he still super enjoyed the show and binge watched the heck out of it. So, well, binge watched in 3-episode intervals, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so Arcane is amazing. I am really looking forward to season 2. I know it's gonna be a second, and that's perfectly fine, but I loved every aspect of the show. Like, I like Jinx, even though she ruins everything. Like, literally, she is the reason the show exists. Like, if it wasn't for every mistake that she's made, which she's made a ton of, by the way, a lot of stuff just wouldn't happen the way it would happen. Like, it's ridiculous how many times she screwed up, and maybe that's the point, you know, her name is Jinx, but like, it's ridiculous that every single time this woman makes a decision, it always goes the wrong way. I still like her as a character. I think she's so unique. I really like just everything that she exists. Vi, I have had very little care for Vi and Caitlyn in general. I actually used to play Caitlyn as well, because she's also an attack damage carrier, by the way, an ADC, but I never really cared about her, and I suddenly have a desire to care because her character is just so cool, and somehow this show has got me to care about Vi. Suddenly I want to punch things, suddenly I want to put gloves on and go, because she just is so freaking badass. That woman is crazy cool. Like, she is just amazing. She just makes me appreciate the existence of her even more, and I just love it to death. Same with Caitlyn. Caitlyn is super badass as well. Where do I even start with Jace? Like, there's just so many characters in the show that I just didn't really care about, and it's just crazy how much the show has made me care about characters that I didn't even think I could care about. Jace is one of those characters that I thought was going to be a very dull and very boring character when I saw episode 1, and then it's just crazy how well built he is. Same with Caitlyn. Like, because they're like the topsiders and they're the people with the money and all this stuff, like, they didn't seem like characters that would have a really good backstory, but they had some of the best backstories ever. And Victor is just amazing. Victor's entire backstory is insane. I don't even know where to start with Victor. Long story short, I cannot express enough how well story built this entire show was, from beginning to end. How happy my soul is to see really well written work between them using metaphorical things throughout the entire series. By the way, there's metaphors in the entire thing, expressing characters, the way the characters express themselves. They really feel like real people going through real problems, if that makes sense. Like, they really just the movement of the characters, you can really feel. There are so many scenes where they take two separate scenes and combine them together. It's actually something that's been done in other movies and things before, but you don't really see it as an art that often, and they really hit it home with this. I can't think of a scene off the top of my head, but it's not really clicking very well. I think it's the scene. There's a couple scenes. They do it a lot. There is a scene, and it's gonna sound a little weird, but there is a scene where there's a sexual intercourse thing happening between two people, and then at the same time there's another scene happening with this technology that is not going the right way. And this scene was incredible to watch because it was actually really disturbing. It's a really disturbing scene because as you see these two people having sexual intercourse, there is this item that is currently, like, there's this technology that's called this, like, the gemstone technology, that just isn't working. As it's not working, there's a sexual intercourse happening, and both these scenes are happening, and they're kind of like almost like intertwining, if that makes sense. And it is a really uncomfortable but really amazing scene, and it's scenes like that carry this entire show. By the way, the whole show is like this, and I think part of that artistic value of how they show it is just so cool. And then I can go on and on about, like, Jinx, who's a sister of Vi, and how that connection is just like, you can really see like where things go wrong and how they just show it and amplify it. And gosh, and then there's the scene where Jinx is fighting Echo, and they make that into a whole artistic scene. Well, they captured a lot of these scenes that make you feel something. They make you want to feel something even when you don't want to feel things, and when you think things are dull and not, they really aren't. There isn't a time that this show is dull. Like, there's never there's every minute is thought out, every section is figured out, every scene matters. It is just crazy how much effort is put into the show, and I absolutely love every second of it. And that's why, even, I'm sure it's pretty hyped, I'm sure everybody knows about it, but there's no reason not to know about the show. There's no reason to not watch it. There is suicidal metaphors, there's war metaphors, there's metaphors on society, there's discussion on money, on war, on global, how people react, how people make decisions. There are things in this show that you can honestly just take and then apply it to yourself, if that makes sense. Just in friendship, relationships, how to treat people, how to not treat people, how poverty is a thing. Like, it's just crazy how much stuff is built into one show, and because of that, it's just out of this world good. It's what makes it so beautiful, because when you do see the metaphors, it's just like chef's kiss, as they call it. big chef's kiss. I already kind of know who survives the end blow. I'm not gonna say who, but there is, you know, the big explosion at the end that happens, and I could tell you right off the bat, it's very obvious kind of who survives, who doesn't. Just if you play the game, you kind of know for a fact who stays alive. But I really loved that ending scene. They really secured Jinx's power right then and there. So for those of you guys that play Jinx or know how Jinx works, one of her abilities, or one of the things she uses, is switching guns. And one, she switches to her regular machine gun, and the other one is the bomb looking gun, like the one that she uses to explode the entire building. That is one of her strongest abilities that she uses in the game, and the fact that they used that as like an ending scene in the show, I was already kind of expecting it because I was waiting for it. As someone who has a Jinx main, I was like, they have to at some point show the rocket, right? The rocket has to come, and then the rocket comes, and it is in the saddest way possible. And I love that scene so much because for the people that watch the show, they've been waiting for the rocket scene, and then when it happens, the people watching the show are like, oh my, the people that know the game are like, oh my god. I mean, I wanted the rocket, but I didn't want it like that. I didn't want it like this, not as a war weapon, you know what I mean? But then the people that don't know how Jinx works, to them it's just like a big like whoa scene, like I wasn't expecting that. That's pretty much it for this Peels. This video actually ended up being longer than I thought it was gonna be, but you know, maybe I'll cut some stuff out. I don't know. I do my editing thing. But that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys liked, read, or seen anything that I've talked about in the last 20-ish minutes, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Tell me how you feel. I might pin your comment, you never know. And yeah, tell me what have you read BB Rose? How do you feel about Arcane? Have you watched Lucifer? Did you like it? Is it a Netflix show that interests you? Have you thought about watching it? And if you have, tell me why. So tell me all about all your feelings and all that fun stuff as per usual. We are officially in the last month of the year. Isn't that crazy to think about? We're in the last month of the year. 2021 is almost over, guys. 2022 is right around the corner. What are you planning for 2022? Feel free to tell me. I'll see you guys in the next Peels. Other than that, peace out. Do svidaniya. Thank you as always for all your wonderful support. Thank you for everything, guys. You guys are awesome. I can't wait for more Peels and more of whatever I'm doing. So yeah, bye.